It was an unconscious decision, I think, to start writing. It was more a challenge to me to see if I could write a book, not to sell a book, but just to see if I could actually write a book. I'm an engineer, not a writer. It must have been 20 odd years ago, which I wrote by hand, in pencil, which I gave up because it was hard work. And then really the story I had in mind at the time never left me, and when we moved here to Spain, I found I had more time, and I got back to the original story. And basically it's based in London. Obviously that's where I lived, and I know that's my comfort zone, so I know everything about London. And it was a kidnapping that went bad. That's a question of finding the person that murdered the daughter by the father. He wanted his revenge. The police wanted to catch the bad guys, and the ghost of the girl is mostly the dominant character in the book, is the ghost, and she wants her revenge, and she has to use an ordinary guy who has no idea what he's in for. Nothing. Sometimes I get an idea and I think about it for a few months in my head, and then I think, okay, I've got a rough idea, and then I start to write, and then I don't know if it's right or wrong, but the way I write is the book writes itself. I just put the words down. You can't, if you do something without research, you can make some serious errors that would really spoil a story. I mean, I'm writing stories, I'm not writing books. I don't regard myself as an author. I regard myself as a storyteller. The sort of book you would buy at the airport for a holiday. They develop themselves. Like I said, I have an idea, and I start to write the book, and then a character might come out of nowhere into the story and become quite dominant. I can't answer that, why that happens. It just happens. I just honestly find I start off with plan A, and invariably it gets down to about plan D or E before. People say when you write a book you have to know where you're going. I do know where I'm going with the book, and I know where I'm going with the story, but how it gets to the end, I have no idea until it gets to the end. I let the story. No, the character comes from the plot. The original idea has a character involved with it. Whether that character is the main dominant character throughout the book, or other characters come in which are equally dominant, but there is usually one central character, and the story revolves around him or her. Well, personally, if I'm reading a book and I want to keep turning the page to find out what happens, then the book is working. And the story, you could say, is irrelevant because there are so many stories. The story could be irrelevant. The question is, does it keep your interest to the end? If you read a book and you start getting bored with it, well then the writer hasn't done his job. Me. I like Frederick Forsyth. I used to like Jean Le Carré a lot, but I believe, I just feel his latest, but he's just got too artistically complicated with his stories. But Frederick Forsyth is probably my most favourite author. I like his style. It's never a simple story. There are always 3 or 4 branches to the story, which I like, and that's how I write. But I like lots and lots of writers. A pleasure. I do it for fun. I enjoy it. I lose myself. People lose themselves in music. I lose myself in writing. I can sit down and get involved with the book, involved with the characters, and I don't know, it's like an escapism from the troubles of the world. That's the other thing I enjoy, because you write, you can actually write down your feelings of what is happening in the world, and you put it into a story, and you can put the rights of the world, or the wrongs of the world, to right. Not the rights of the world to wrong. Well, you can do that if you like. So yeah, there's a freedom, a really big freedom in writing. Freedom of expression, whatever.